We all have that picture in our heads, don't we? The sleek electric vehicles gliding silently around our cities. But if you're anything like me, there's maybe always been a little question mark hovering over it. The battery. How far can you really go? And, how long does it actually take to charge back up? Okay, let's unpack this because something genuinely exciting, I think, is brewing on the horizon. Solid-state batteries.
You've hit on a key point there. Yeah. For a lot of people, the limitations of current lithium-ion tech have felt like a bit of a ceiling on the whole EV revolution. But solid-state batteries,
Yeah,
they're potentially a whole different ballgame, and that difference could really change everything.
right. So if you've ever wondered what might power the cars of tomorrow, our mission today is to really get under the hood of solid-state batteries. We want to explore why there's so much buzz around their potential things like, being able to drive hundreds more miles, charging up in the time it takes to grab a coffee, being significantly safer, and batteries that could potentially outlast the car itself. It sounds amazing.
It really does.
And because we always like to see where different parts of the world fit into these big advancements, we're also going to take a specific look at what's happening, or maybe not happening, in Italy, in this fascinating area. All of this comes to us thanks to some really insightful reporting from Calpurnia News.
Exactly. Yeah, Calpurnia News has given us a fantastic foundation to really dig into this complex topic. So maybe let's start with the most fundamental question. What exactly are solid-state batteries?
Right. Good place to start. At its heart, the big difference really comes down to what's inside the battery. With the lithium-ion batteries we're all used to, there's a liquid electrolyte. You can sort of think of it as a kind of conductive soup, maybe, that lets the ions shuttle back and forth.
Yeah, between the positive and negative ends.
Exactly. But with solid-state batteries, well, as name suggests, that liquid is swapped out for a solid.
And what's fascinating here is the change in the actual materials used for this conductive medium. Instead of a liquid, we're seeing things like ceramics or even polymers being explored.
Polymers, right.
And this might sound like just a simple swap, but it actually has some pretty significant implications for how the battery performs.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting for me. Because this seemingly simple change could unlock some seriously impressive upgrades.
Yeah.
Let's talk about range first. I know that's top of mind for a lot of people thinking about an EV. How far can they actually go?
Yeah.
It sounds like solid-state batteries could really put those worries to rest, according to Calpurnia News, right?
Absolutely. It's a major potential benefit because solid electrolytes, they can often be packed more densely than liquids, and they can also allow for the use of different electrode materials, ones that might not be stable with liquid electrolytes.
Oh, okay.
So solid-state batteries have the potential for much higher energy density.
Okay.
And to connect this to what it means for you, the listener, a higher energy density directly translates to a longer driving range for electric vehicles, a much longer range.
We're talking what kind of numbers?
Well, we're talking about the real possibility of traveling well over 500 miles on a single charge, possibly more.
Wow. 500 miles.
Yeah.
That's the kind of range that could make those long road trips feel completely different. Like, no anxiety.
Exactly. And it gets even more concrete. You mentioned Toyota earlier. They're a major player, obviously. They've actually set a goal of achieving a staggering 745-mile range with their solid-state batteries.
745 miles. That's huge. That's practically coast-to-coast territory for some places.
It's incredibly ambitious. And it's not just about the distance you can cover, right? It's also about how quickly you can get back on the road.
Ah, yes, the charging time. Another big one.
Definitely. Charging time is another major factor when it comes to the convenience, the practicality of EVs. And solid-state batteries are shaping up to make a big difference here, too.
The reports suggest we could see prototypes charging up to, 80% in under 15 minutes?
That's what some prototypes are aiming for, yes.
Just think about that. A quick pit stop, maybe grab a coffee, and your car's almost fully charged.
Yeah.
That feels like a monumental leap compared to, current EV charging times.
It really is.
What's the secret behind that faster charging? How does the solid electrolyte help?
Well, the structure of some solid electrolytes allows those lithium ions to move more quickly between the electrodes, especially under high current. So you can push more power in faster without the same stability issues you might get with liquid electrolytes.
What kind of issues?
In liquid systems, if you charge too fast, you can get these things called dendrites forming. They're like tiny, sharp, needle-like structures that grow.
I've heard of those. Not good.
Not good at all. They can cause short circuits, which limits battery life and, crucially, affects safety. Solid electrolytes are generally much more resistant to that problem.
Okay, so that leads nicely to safety. That's another huge factor, isn't it? We've all heard those unfortunate stories about EV battery fires.
Hmm.
That can understandably make some people hesitant.
Yes, and this is a really critical potential advantage of solid-state technology, a big one. Because the electrolyte is solid and it's generally non-flammable, the risk of fire and leaks is significantly reduced, much lower than with the volatile liquid electrolytes in current lithium-ion batteries.
So inherently safer, basically.
That's the promise, yes. This inherent stability makes EVs equipped with solid-state batteries potentially much, much safer.
And it's not just about immediate safety like fires. What about how long these batteries are expected to last? Because let's be honest, the thought of having to replace an entire, very expensive battery pack is a significant financial thing for potential buyers, right?
Absolutely. And the data we're seeing indicates that solid-state batteries could offer a significantly longer lifespan, too. They tend to degrade more slowly over repeated charge and discharge cycles.
Yeah.
To give you a tangible example, Calpurnia News highlights data from QuantumScape, one of the key companies. Their data showed their batteries retain something like 95% of their initial capacity, even after 1,000 full charge cycles.
Wow. Okay, 1,000 charge cycles. What does that practically translate to for someone, using their car every day, miles-wise?
Well, when you combine that with the kind of extended ranges we were just discussing, you're potentially looking at well over 300,000 miles of driving,
300,000 miles.
with only a minimal reduction in battery performance. That really suggests the battery that could realistically last for the entire lifespan of the vehicle for most drivers.
Okay, so let's just quickly recap. We're looking at potentially much longer driving ranges, like 500, maybe even 700 miles, significantly faster charging times, maybe under 15 minutes, for a big chunk of charge.
Yep.
A big boost in safety due to the solid electrolyte
Crucial.
and batteries that could last the actual life of the car, over 300,000 miles. It really, really does sound like solid-state batteries are the key to unlocking the full potential of EVs.
It certainly looks that way on paper, yes. The potential is enormous.
So who are the key players really pushing to bring this amazing technology to market? We mentioned Toyota QuantumScape.
Right. The race to commercialization is definitely intensifying. As we noted, Toyota is making very public and ambitious moves. They're aiming for that 2027 production target.
2027.
Yeah.
That feels soon for such a big lead.
It is ambitious. QuantumScape and Solid Power are also major contenders in this field. They're both heavily focused on developing viable solid-state electrolyte materials and the actual battery cell designs.
That 2027 target from Toyota feels like a real statement, though. It suggests this isn't just lab research anymore. There's a serious push towards getting these into actual cars.
Absolutely. It signals a high level of commitment. Toyota has a long history in battery development, and they're investing significantly here.
But there have to be challenges, right? It can't be that easy.
Oh, definitely not. As with any ambitious new technology, there are certainly risks and potential roadblocks along the way. Major hurdles, actually.
Right. So while the promise is huge, we need to be realistic. There are still significant challenges to overcome before we see solid-state EVs everywhere. What are the main kind of sticking points right now?
The Calpurnia News articles do touch on some of the critical limitations. High production costs are a really significant factor.
The cost. Always the cost.
Always. Developing manufacturing processes that can produce these batteries at the massive scale needed for the auto industry and keep costs competitive. Well, that's proving to be a really complex engineering challenge.
Scaling up production affordably. Okay. What else?
And then there's the real-world durability testing. As we touched on, extensive testing is absolutely crucial. You need to ensure these batteries can withstand the demands of daily use over many, many years in all sorts of climates, hot, cold, and different driving conditions.
So the lab results are promising, but they need to prove they can handle the rough and tumble of actual roads and weather for a decade or more.
Precisely. The main bottlenecks are scaling up production efficiently and affordably, and then rigorously proving that these batteries can handle everything the real world throws at them. Long-term reliability.
Okay. That makes sense. Now let's pivot a bit. Let's turn our attention to Italy. We've discussed the global landscape, the Toyotas, the QuantumScapes, but what role is Italy playing in this exciting development of solid-state battery technology?
Yeah, it's interesting to look at specific regions. From what we've gathered from Calpurnia News, it seems Italy's involvement isn't quite as prominent, perhaps, as some of those other major players we've mentioned.
Right. The reporting suggests their efforts are still in the, let's say, earlier stages compared to countries like Japan, China, and the United States.
That's a fair summary based on the information available. Calpurnia News points out that there aren't currently any Italian companies, mass producing solid state batteries or having significant commercial applications of this specific tech in the market right now.
Okay, but
Hmm.
it's not as though there's no activity happening in Italy at all, is it?
Yeah.
It sounds like the focus might be more on the foundational research side and collaborations.
Exactly. You've got it. The landscape of solid-state battery R&D in Italy is really characterized by strong engagement from the academic community, universities, and research centers. Institutions like the Politecnico di Torino and the National Research Council, the CNR, they're actively involved. They're researching and developing innovative, solid electrolyte materials.
So, working on the fundamental science.
Yes, exploring advanced ceramics, different polymer-based solutions. This kind of fundamental research is absolutely crucial for potential future breakthroughs wherever they might happen.
So, Italy's strength in this area currently lies more in that scientific research and discovery phase.
It seems so.
Yeah.
And we also see some interest from Italian startups. Flash Battery, for instance, is mentioned. They're participating in discussions and events focused on solid-state battery tech, which indicates they're, closely monitoring developments, keeping an eye on things, even if they aren't manufacturing these batteries themselves at the moment.
Right, staying informed. And what about the larger European automotive companies, the ones that have a significant presence, maybe manufacturing plants, in Italy? How do they fit into this picture? Stellantis, for example.
Yeah, this is an important angle because while Italy might not have its own homegrown solid-state battery giants yet, major European players with a substantial footprint in Italy, like Stellantis, are actively pursuing this technology. But they seem to be doing it mainly through international collaborations.
Okay.
Stellantis, which obviously has significant manufacturing in Italy, is working with an American company called Factorial Energy.
Factorial energy, right.
And their aim is to have a demonstration fleet of vehicles using Factorial's solid-state batteries as early as 2026.
2026. That's even sooner than Toyota's target, for a demo fleet at least.
For demonstration fleet, yes, it's still a step towards commercialization.
Okay, so even if the solid-state batteries aren't initially being manufactured in Italy by an Italian company, this kind of collaboration involving Stellantis could still have positive knock-on effects for the Italian auto industry.
Absolutely. It provides really valuable opportunities for Italian engineers, for the manufacturing facilities there to gain firsthand experience with this cutting-edge technology. It could potentially lay the groundwork for future integration into vehicles actually produced in Italy down the line. It's an indirect benefit, maybe, but potentially very significant.
But the report also flags some pretty considerable obstacles for Italy, right? If it wants to become a major player in the solid-state battery space beyond just research, it's not just about the science.
That's a critical point to consider, definitely. Calpurnia News emphasizes two key challenges for Italy specifically. The first one is the lack of a really well-established, mature battery supply chain within the country.
The whole ecosystem.
Exactly. Global battery production is heavily concentrated, mostly in China right now. And Europe as a whole is estimated to be, well, significantly behind, maybe 20 years behind, some estimates say, in developing this crucial infrastructure.
20 years, wow.
Building that kind of comprehensive supply chain from raw materials processing to cell manufacturing, it's a massive and very expensive undertaking.
Okay, lack of a mature supply chain.
Yeah.
And what's the second major hurdle mentioned?
The second one is perhaps insufficient investment in the necessary electrification infrastructure across the country.
Meaning charging stations.
Primarily, yes,
Yeah.
charging stations. While there's growing interest in electric vehicles in Italy, the availability of public chargers still needs significant expansion to really support a widespread transition to EVs, especially EVs that might have the much longer ranges offered by solid-state batteries. You still need reliable places to charge eventually.
Right, you need the infrastructure to match the capability of the car.
Precisely.
Okay, so to kind of summarize Italy's current position in this whole solid-state battery landscape, looks like a strong foundation in academic research, a willingness to engage in international collaborations like the Stellantis one, but still facing pretty significant challenges in terms of building large-scale domestic manufacturing capabilities, and also the broader infrastructure needed to support widespread adoption.
I think that's a concise and accurate overview based on the reporting. The potential for Italy to become a more significant player likely hinges quite a bit on the success of these international partnerships, like the Stellantis Factorial one. In the meantime, the national focus seems to be more on perhaps further refining existing lithium-ion battery technology and continuing the push to build out the electric vehicle charging network. Practical steps.
Got it. So as we bring this deep dive to a close, it feels really clear that solid-state batteries represent potentially a genuinely exciting leap forward for the future of electric vehicles.
Right.
They offer the potential to overcome some of the most significant limitations we currently face, promising longer distances, much faster refueling, well, recharging in this case,
Right.
and safer, longer-lasting batteries. It ticks a lot of boxes.
Indeed, these advancements, if they pan out commercially, have the potential to fundamentally change how we think about and use electric vehicles. They could make EVs a much more practical and appealing choice for a much broader range of consumers.
Yeah, really moving them into the mainstream in a bigger way.
Exactly.
And when we look specifically at Italy, we see a country with, as we said, a robust research community. They're actively engaging with this global movement towards this transformative tech, even if they aren't quite at the forefront of manufacturing just yet. The collaborations they're forging, like the Stellantis one, could be really crucial for their future in this rapidly evolving field.
Absolutely. And this brings up an important question maybe for you, the listener, to think about. As we contemplate this potential shift towards solid-state batteries, what broader implications do you foresee?
Yeah.
How might this technology reshape not just how we get around, but maybe also our energy infrastructure, global manufacturing landscapes, supply chains?
That's a great point. What new questions or maybe areas of exploration has this deep dive sparked in your own thinking about the future of energy and transport? Lots to consider.